niece and the young performer and all the others in the crowd. Do you have any advice at all?
What did you?
Advice for a young performer.
Oh. I honestly don't know what to say. I can only say if it's got a hold of you to an extent that you really can't turn your back, and you've got to do it, and you've got to, you've got to try your very best to make a success out of the profession of acting. And if you do, I promise you, heights you will never know if you don't do it. And I also promise you sadness that will just terrify you. So, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad, and I did, and I'm almost 89 years old, and I don't know what time is it. I'm in great shape. I got a ride home. So it's absolutely perfect. Everything's going my way.
I actually just want to make a comment about that. Elaine had a really wonderful speech that she gave at the Tonys where a woman came up to her and said, Elaine, Miss Stritch, you're my idol. I want to follow in your footsteps. Do you have any advice? And she said, wear comfortable shoes.
That just about says it. It's true. It does. How wonderful of you to remember that. Why wasn't it in the documentary?
There was about 175 hours that wasn't in the documentary. There'll be a mini-series.
Oh, dear God. Isn't it just wonderful? You don't know what it's like to sit up here and look out there and see all of you clapping and going crazy. It's just the best feeling.
Hi, I would watch all 175 hours. My question for you is, if you could, is there one play that you either haven't done that you would love to do, or one that you would redo? And if so, who would be your leading man?
Oh my God.
You can also say what your favorite color is, too.
Oh, that's just divine. You know what I'd like to do? I don't think the play has been written yet, but I'm going to be very, very honest with all of you tonight and tell you what I'd like to do. I'd like to play a love story. If you don't take that mic, I'd like to play a love story with a younger man and make it work. Because I think one was tried and it was written too much leaning towards comedy, raw comedy. But I think there's some truth in it. First of all, I think the play should have a deep meaning of criticism of love and how people fall in love and what their story is. I mean, when I see and read about people criticizing homosexual and criticizing love as it is and not bothering with things like that. Just yay when somebody falls in love. Yay when two people are happy together. Who will we find?
Miss Stritch,
Yes.
I also went to Catholic school all of my life, and also went to the Madams of the Sacred Heart. Je suis enfant de Sacré-Cœur. And can we get a picture for the alumni magazine? Okay, later?
I mean, you gotta do it on your own time. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go
Okay,
home,
I'm running.
I'm going to try to get some sleep. But I'd love to do a picture for you. Maybe I can do it by mail. I don't know, but I'd be happy to do it.
She ran up there to take a
My mother is so upset I'm not in better clothes.
Oh dear, well, I'll write her a letter.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, Elaine, I'm not a man with a sacred heart, but I'm a sister of St. Francis of Assisi, who gave you your doctorate, remember, at Stritch not too many years ago. So you do have a doctorate, Doctor of Humane Letters from Cardinal Stritch University.
Do you have a question?
I'm going to tell you a story about yourself. Dave Oswald is here too, and some other folks.
Okay.
Remember when you were here, you stayed at the Pfister.
Can you come closer to the mic? We can hardly hear you.
When you were here, you stayed at the Pfister Hotel.
Yes?
And we came by one day to pick you up, to take you out to Stritch. And you were practicing with the gentleman who played the piano at the Pfister because you wanted to sing to our graduates at the commencement ceremony.
Yes.
And he was not getting it. Because maybe he never really played for people who sing. And you were getting in the car and you were frustrated. And you said, he's not getting it. And your gopher, who was sitting in the back seat,
My what?
the guy you brought along.
I brought
Yep. Your assistant.
You mean
Yes.
this trip or
No, that was at the Pfister.
Yeah. Can you get to the questions?
Okay.
I don't understand this.
You got in the car and you were frustrated and said, he's not getting it. And that fellow said to you from the back seat, well, why don't you just pay him off and we'll get somebody else? And you turned to him and you said, you can't do that to that man. He will be okay. And I thought, that's your heart. And he was just fine, and you sang beautifully at the commencement, but you showed your heart.
Thank you. I'm awfully glad that story turned out like it did.
Okay, hi. I wanted to know, what is the no pants thing? Very interesting. In the trend. I like it.
What is the no pants thing?
I think they want to know how you decided to wear blouses with tights instead of slacks.
One of my best friends was Judy Garland. I loved her very much, and thank you very much. And I got the pants and the tights and the high heels because it gave me a feeling of playing an older woman, a jazzy kind of woman who was a little older than she was playing in a play. And I enjoyed it. I learned a lot from Judy, and she taught me a lot, God knows. And I don't know, I just admired her so much that I tried to imitate her rehearsal costume because I thought it was so attractive. And it's something as simple as that. That was all it was. Just to imitate one of my favorite performers in the whole world. That's it.
Yes, Ms. Stritch?
Yes.
On behalf of everyone here, I would first like to welcome you to Milwaukee. We are all very honored. And my question for you would be, if you, like so many other living legends, were to be portrayed either on film or perhaps on television or even on the stage, whom would you prefer, or give us more than one name if you'd like, to portray you?
Who would you want?
Who would portray you in the feature film about your life?
Or a Broadway play, or a musical.
Or a cartoon? Well, just out of sheer, not boredom, because it could never be that with an artist like herself, but not Meryl Streep.
I would like to know, well, actually, first of all, let me start with that I hope to grow up to be as sassy and fabulous as you are.
Oh, thank you so much.
No problem. And then second, I would like to know what your favorite project that you were ever a part of was.
You've got to forgive me.
What was your favorite project that you were ever a part of? Your favorite play, your favorite musical?
And why, please?
I think talking, just merely talking to an audience about actors that I know, about human beings that I know, that I've seen in just seen talking about each other, the actors talking about their experiences. I think that I did a couple of shows like that were very, very good, and I had the best time in the world because it was taking the emphasis off of me, but then when it was forced on me, they did talk about me and what they thought of my, my participation in acting and how I got there and how I appreciated the people that had, when John Turturro talked about me, and I was going to say sassy, but it was a true story, and I felt it was important that sometimes when you're doing a show and playing a part, and something happens to you on the stage, and I'm not trying to get laughs with this, but I think it is marvelous that you are totally lacking in coloring anything or making it less than the truth. I mean, the thing that I talked about I was very slow growing up, and I didn't know what was happening to me, and I was developing, and my whole, everything that happened to me on the stage. And when that happened to me, I'm sure that, well, at least the men will remember. When I told about the experience of having a physical reaction on the stage during a scene by Edward Albee, who's gay, so. I didn't know what to do about that. So I just kept going, kept talking, bravo, 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 and everybody thought it was just the most courageous thing in the world. So now that they thought that way about him, I agree with them. I think it was pretty courageous, because I went home and immediately found out what an orgasm was. I'm scared that, as I want to make it clear who talked, who shit. She says, scare the shit. She says it was my director here who taught me the word. So I just thought.
If you believe that.
Yeah. That and 50 cents will get you on the subway. Okay. That sort of answer your question.
Hello.
Hello. I was wondering how it feels to sit and watch your life play out on a screen, and is it strange to watch your life where someone else has kind of chosen the important bits to put on the screen?
Well, I told someone, when was it? I told them this evening, coming over here. We're in the lobby of the Pfister. I can't remember which, but somebody spoke to me in the lobby and they said, "What do you?" It's very much like your you know, saying what you said about how did you react to that and what do you feel about that. I told my director friend here that I had this reaction to the show after the first time I saw, excuse me, I'm sorry, after the first time I saw the play,
The documentary.
the documentary, she said, because she was so anxious to hear my reaction, and I'd never seen it. And I said, well, I thought it was wonderful, and I compliment you, and blah, 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 blah. And I went on with my not criticism, but comments on my feelings about the show. And I said, I told her I thought it was great. I told her I'd even like to see it again, but I don't want to be in it. So that was the honest reaction I had the first time I saw it. And, pardon me?
Carry on.
I'm sorry.
I said carry
Oh,
on.
carry on. Oh, that's encouraging. I did really mean what I said, and I thought, what a wonderful wrap-up for a documentary. I don't think you should sit back and put your feet up and enjoy your documentary. I would think that's a bit hung up, as they say, on yourself. But what I did like was the gentle criticism that I have gotten from fellow performers in my life. And I think they were awful easy go with me, and I think that's a compliment. So I thank them all right now, that there was no really mean, you know, attitude towards my things that people didn't agree with me on. I thought they took care of their reaction, so they didn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. A quick question for the director. You have 170 hours of material, but what's that one scene that you almost put in, but it didn't quite make it in? What was the best thing that didn't make it in the movie?
That's actually an impossible, that's an impossible thing to answer because there were so many things that we wanted in the film, and there was only so much time to tell this story. But I think at the end of the day, when we were making our decision about what stayed in and what stayed out, I think the wonderful thing about Elaine is she's such a singular and unique character that you'll watch her do anything, and I'm not joking, anything, But I think the part for us that was the most pertinent was telling a universal story. This is a journey, and it's about a performer, it's about aging, it's about life. And whatever we felt contributed to the whole in that way stayed in, I mean, there's 356 other things that I would have loved to put in the film, but they'll be in the DVD extras.
Hi. Believe it or not, I wrote a dissertation about how acting and performing can change the way we think about aging.
Sweetheart, you have to talk up a little bit.
I'll go this way. So I wrote an entire book about how aging can change, or acting and performing can change the way we think about aging. Mm-hmm. And I wrote this whole book, and you just said it in one line, which is there an end to pretend? And I just wondered what you think about that. Is there an end to pretend?
Is there an end to pretend?
Ah, good question. I don't know.
And thus we made a film.
That's right. Sweetheart, I will, if you write me a little note at the Pfister and leave your telephone number, I'll call you if anything occurs to me. I really will.
I have to say, you are the most authentic performer I have ever seen. Your acting skill is beyond anybody I've ever seen, ever. And I'm a musical theater major, and most of what I want to incorporate is just authenticity and making sure every performance is as real as it can be. And I'm wondering if you have any advice on getting into character and how you reside in that character and how you relate that character to audiences in a real, authentic way.
Well, I hope you understand this. This is not braggadocio. This is not, I'm an actor studio, all that bullshit. You know, that everybody, actors getting up in arms about defending their acting process and somebody else's. It just bores me to death. And I don't do it. I used to go to the actor studio because I loved, what's his name?
James Lipton.
No, not James.
An actor, Marlon Brando.
No, it's the director of the actor studio.
Oh, Strasberg.
Stella Adler.
Stella Adler for a while, but who was the?
Lee Strasberg.
Strasberg.
Thank you. Lee Strasberg paid me, I think it was a great compliment one day in a class. I used to go and watch his classes and be part of them and ask questions. And he let me come without being a student. And somebody asked if Elaine Stritch, if in his mind, Elaine Stritch was an actor studio student. And he said that Elaine Stritch was born with the method. And I just love that, and I sat there with those sons of bitches. You know, and he cleared me out altogether and said, I believe everything she says. You can't say more about an actress than that. Well, hello, Dolly.
Elaine, thank you for being so graceful and honest and authentic. It's so fantastic to just be here with you and learning about you. And I wonder how, since you've been a professional of such caliber for so long, how your expectations of working with other actors and directors have sort of metamorphosized from the beginning to now.
Have your thoughts about working with actors and directors changed over your career?
Yes, the more I learned, the more I changed. And that's all I can say about it. And I have changed a great deal. I listen more than I used to. I was so frightened. I didn't listen hardly to anybody. I was afraid they would confuse what little knowledge I had. And then I began to really listen. And I thought, oh, there's an idea. Oh, I'll try that. And it works. And you get more knowledgeable of what you're studying to become. I'd like to have this. I love it. I just love it. You know, I'd like to, destroy it in some way. I'll answer any questions you ask me, with or without the mic. All right. But I have to go home and go to bed.
Is there a last question?
I have one last question.
Right.
I am inspired to step into my own life the way I see you show up for yours. And I wonder if you have any advice about recognizing ourselves in I think so many of us live without really knowing ourselves. And I want to ask you about how you became so honest with yourself.
I'm afraid to be dishonest on the stage. I'm literally afraid because it is so obvious. It's so obvious when you really become conscious of telling a lie dramatically. You can't do it. I can't. I just can't. I have to tell the truth. And I don't care if I'm playing a murderess or I'm playing a prostitute, and I'm not a prostitute and I'm not a murderess. I know when I'm fooling them, and so do they. So you might as well not show up for the first day of rehearsal.
And in your own life?
What?
You're that honest in your own life?
Without honesty, you're...
No.
Yes.
Are you that honest?
I am now. I am now.
On behalf of the Milwaukee Film Festival, the city of Milwaukee here tonight, thank you, Chiemi. Thank you, Elaine, for sharing this incredible evening with us.
Cities. I hope Milwaukee is one of them. In February 2014, a lot of that depends on how much word of mouth we get. So please like us on Facebook, tell all your friends about the film, visit the website, ElaineStritchShootMe.com, and spread the word. Thank you so much.
Important.
I'm glad you got your picture.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. Oh wait, don't forget your picture.
Oh, I won't, trust me. Have a good night.
It was fun.
Yes, very fun.
That night, even more so than I thought it would be.
I loved it. Have a good night.
Oh, you very good,